What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's discuss Monday Night Raw from January the 29th, 2024. The fallout from this past Saturday's Royal Rumble. The show itself was okay from a storyline perspective. Stories begin to progress and develop. The matches, I don't give a damn about the matches. I really don't. Wasn't a fan of DIY and Judgment Day. I'm just not a fan of all that stuff. I'm just not. Other than that, the show itself was okay. CM Punk is very injury prone, and that's not good. That is not good. I think it's time for CM Punk to hang up the boots. I really just see him going part-time, maybe just for another year, and then that's it. Because he's just so frail and broken down. I don't know. He has to be made of glass or something. He has to be. Speaking of CM Punk, he kicked off the show. So he came out and he got on the mic. He put over how he had the Royal Rumble in the palm of his hand. He said that he's not mad at Cody Rhodes. He actually wants to congratulate Cody Rhodes for winning. He said that he busted his ass. He hopes he goes to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia to finish the story. He said going back to back in the Royal Rumble is a hell of an accomplishment. And then he puts over the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the back-to-back cup. So he said that he never believed in luck, but he does feel a little bit unlucky. At the course of the Rumble, he tore his right tricep. He said he thought that maybe he could tape it. Maybe he could make it into the Elimination Chamber and win that and get his main event at WrestleMania, but it's just not in the cards. He didn't want anybody to feel sorry for him. Because when he thinks about the situation, it bums him out. Then he started to go over why he wanted to wrestle. Why he wanted to main event WrestleMania since he was a kid. And then he mentions a friend of his by the name of Chad Gilbert who has cancer. He said that he's been there by his side from the start. Him and his beautiful wife Lily, they go visit him all the time. He said he's never down about it. It's soul crushing. So much respect to Chad Gilbert. Big shout out to him. Big shout out. He said that's a fight, but what he has is just a flesh wound. And then he mentions his UFC career. He said that it scared him as much as coming back after 10 years. 10 years of not being in a place that he never wanted to leave in the first place, but he had to. So there is him mentioning AEW, which made sense. He said it scared him. WrestleMania scared him. It's a goal that may haunt him for the rest of his life, but this is just a bump in the road. The best in the world is those people who fight things like cancer, who put their lives on the line, like Matt Flanagan in Chicago, who's a firefighter, and people who help other people. He says that he doesn't focus on those who are negative. He doesn't focus on those who tell me that he can't. CM Punk doesn't focus. He goes over and says that he's not tall enough. He's not big enough. You got stupid hair. You got the wrong tattoos. None of that matters. He says, and then he puts the crowd over saying that some of you guys are teachers, garbage men. It doesn't matter what you do. You wake up and you keep going. He said, WrestleMania 40, I guess it's not in the cards, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last time. I'm going to say this. There's always next year. I'm going to bust my ass. So then he's interrupted by Drew McIntyre. And Drew, he tugged on the heartstrings of CM Punk. He said he put him over. He said he definitely respects him for talking about his buddy Chad. And he said he went through some recent changes himself. He said he's never been much of a spiritual person, but I want you to know that I prayed for this. I'm like, damn. He said, and it happened. He said, when I got into the Rumble, I targeted you, violently assaulted you. I could not let you win that thing. Our champion, he's down. He's taking this title as far as he can go until his body broke. He's done a great job. Who's going to take it to the next level? It couldn't be you. You eliminated me. I couldn't get sleep that night. I was so angry with myself. Then I heard the news the next day and slept like a baby last night. That was tremendous. That was good shit right there. I popped when Drew said that, guys. I was like, oh, shit. He said, you won the battle, but you didn't win the war. Mission accomplished. I exercised the demon CM Punk. Now I'm going to find a way into the world title match at WrestleMania. I'm going to main event. I'm going to live CM Punk's dream again. Punk, don't roll those eyes. Look at me when I speak to you. And then Punk retorts by saying, my heart hurts more than my tricep does. I'm going to rehab it. And when I come back, I'll main event WrestleMania. But the first checklist is you. I'm coming right after you. So then Drew attempts to attack Punk from behind via cheap shots. So Punk begins to start throwing haymakers. And then out of nowhere, McIntyre does the Glasgow kiss. And then he stomps on the injured shoulder of CM Punk. And then Sami Zayn comes into the ring to make the save. So this was great. I love this. Heel Drew McIntyre kicks major ass. I am a fan. I am a damn fan of Drew McIntyre. Look, Drew McIntyre has to defeat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. It sucks that CM Punk's going to be out for a while. A torn tricep usually takes about 3 to 6 months to heal, but Punk has torn his tricep before when he was in AEW. So if he's out for a full year, then that's fine. I could see him maybe making a return, maybe at the Royal Rumble next year. I think that would be great. Have him win the Rumble, and then you have Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, WrestleMania 41. You know, you want to play this long term. You don't want him to come back and rehab really quickly just to try to make a SummerSlam or make a Survivor Series or whatever. No, you really want to take time and heal, because CM Punk is extremely injury prone. So Drew McIntyre was the second best option. Gunther, I like him, but he's not ready yet. He's not. But this is a good little way to start the show off for sure. Moving on. So the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, she's not a fan. She's not fazed by Bayley. Tonight is about sending a message. Will distractions continue to get in the way? Damian Priest says that they're done with distractions, and he speaks in Spanish for whatever reason. I have no idea why. After tonight, they'll show the world how vicious they really are. First match of the night, Judgment Day versus DIY. For the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, Judgment Day, they retain via, I believe it was the South of Heaven is how they won. I don't know. This was a long-ass match. I didn't really give a shit. So, post-match, Finn Balor picks up the win via the coup de grace. My bad. So, post-match, Damian Priest calls out R-Truth. R-Truth talked about the Judgment Day being a family. Damian Priest says that Truth is not part of the family. He said that he likes Truth, but that's why he's not going to be the one to do this. And then JD McDonough out of nowhere attacks R-Truth, and then The Miz comes in the ring. But both of them succumb to the numbers game. And that was that. So that's fine there. Again, I'm not really very enthusiastic about the Judgment Day anymore. I'm ready for the faction to break up. The Money in the Bank on Priest has been useless. It's been a waste of fucking time that they've done nothing with it. I have no idea why Triple H continues to, keep the briefcase on Damian Priest. It doesn't really make any sense. We need to do something. I personally think that Damian Priest should have cashed in 2 weeks ago when Seth Rollins took on Jinder Mahal back then, so we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now. I mean, like I say, Seth could win it back at the Elimination Chamber, So that's what I would have done. But this Judgment Day storyline has just dragged on. It's just like, it's like pulling teeth. I'm like, damn, like, are we going to speed this shit up and really just have them turn on Damian Priest? Like, come on. Ugh. Moving on. I wanted to burn my television. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark took on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Thankfully, it was a short match. Zoe Stark wins with the Z360 for the 1, 2, 3. Who really gives a crap? I'm not a fan of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. I'm just not. I really just don't care. Moving on. So Cody Rhodes, he comes out next. He's all giddy and happy. He says that he does his usual, what do you want to talk about shtick? And then he wanted Samantha to announce him winning back-to-back Rumbles again. He said it was music to his ears. He says that he knows that the fans come to Monday Night Raw. You come to WWE Live, to SmackDown, to the PLEs. The exception is on us to give you the very best action, the best 3 hours of your life from anywhere that you might have. Cody, I love you, man, but Raw sucks most of the time for 3 hours. Like, I don't know why he's even saying that, because Raw usually is like the worst wrestling show of the week sometimes. But Raw lately has been pretty decent for the most part. Been pretty decent. Continuing on, I'm sorry about that little rant. Well, that little side note. But continuing on. So he said, but often I don't think people realize how so many times we need to escape too. The last 48 hours of his life outside of here has been rather challenging. Everything is good. I was well, but on Saturday, you never know how much I needed you. Then he begins to cry a little bit. He said, but let's get to it. Let's make WrestleMania 40 official. I'm sorry about that. So Seth Rollins comes out. He puts over Cody. He won back-to-back Rumbles. He said that he has respect for Cody. He says, if you choose to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, you're making a mistake. You should fight him instead. He said, all I'm asking you for is to hear him out. I watched at the Royal Rumble press conference. You said unequivocally, you're the guy. He said, I'm not trying to be a jerk right now, but you're not the guy. Roman Reigns is not even the guy anymore. I'm the guy. I'm the guy, and this is the World Heavyweight Championship. This is the title in WWE. He said, last year you won the Rumble. It makes perfect sense to go after Roman Reigns. But that's when there was only one champion. The landscape has changed. I get it every single day. You thought about for the last year, Roman. I get it. I understand it. But you got to ride with me. You've been on this ride with me since I won this title. You've been on the road with me, making town after town, city after city, on all these shows. There's a main event. Who was in the main event? Because it sure as hell wasn't Roman Reigns. He said, because it sure as hell isn't the WWE Championship. It's the World Heavyweight Championship. You know why? Do you remember how this title came to be? It's because the fans were sick of Roman Reigns. They were sick of him showing up every other week, then every other month, then every 6 months, never defending the title, cheating to win every single time he had an opportunity to be an honorable man. This title is our title. This title is for us. For us, by us. We built this title up through broken bones, through a broken back, through a blown out knee. We have, all of us, and you included, we all have the level playing field with the World Heavyweight Championship. So we don't need to pretend like Roman Reigns is the God, because he's not. He said, we don't need to pretend that Roman's on an untouchable pedestal. We don't need Roman Reigns at all. He said, do you want the Hollywood title? Do you want the Hulk Hogan title? For the posers, one for the posers and the fraud. The people who politic the way up to the top, or do you want the Dusty Rhodes title? Do you want the Workhorse Championship, the Blue Collar Championship? Because that's what the World Heavyweight Championship means. It's about who's the very best between these ropes. And now I can ask Dusty, which title Dusty would have rather had. But we both know the answer to that. The truth is, it really doesn't matter because it's not about him. It hasn't been about him for a long time. This is about you. This is about you and your decision. I don't need an answer right now, but I want for you to think about this because this is the biggest decision you'll ever make your entire life. And I want you to know what's in here. He points to his heart and says, what kind of man do you want to be? And then Cody Rhodes says, Seth Rollins, I have an insane amount of respect for you. And this is the last thing I woke up thinking about when we would be talking about what I would be thinking about. Let me tell you this, I'll think about it. So this is fine there, but again, to me, this is a waste of a segment, if we're being honest. But they've been doing this for quite some time now. Again, we all know that the World Heavyweight Championship is the second coming of the IC title, if we're being honest. That's just what it is. This is fine. I assume Cody's going to be on SmackDown this week to officially challenge Roman Reigns. And then I think next Monday on Raw, we're going to begin the Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre feud up until WrestleMania 40. So that's what's going to really happen. So I think what they're going to do is probably they're going to have like a little tournament or like qualifying matches to get into the chamber. Maybe 3 guys from Raw, 3 guys from SmackDown. Maybe Drew McIntyre wins. And then that's how we begin the feud right there. So I think that would be smart. Next, Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. Jey Uso wins via the Uso Splash. Makes sense. And I guess Bronson Reed can go back to the mid-card. He's just going to go further into obscurity. At this point, I would just send him down to NXT for a little bit, if we're being honest. He's not going to do anything. He's just like Ivar. He's just there. He wins one, loses one. Win one, loses one. He's there a week, gone a week. There a week, gone a week. I hate shit like that. It's so annoying. But it is what it is. Jey Uso winning makes perfect sense. Next, Andrade. He's back. So he informs Adam Pearce that he'll be signing with Raw. He's got a nice green suit on. Nick Aldis tells Adam Pearce that he's looking forward to bringing Braun Breaker to the Blue brand. He gets a call from Braun Breaker, so that is perfect. So this makes perfect sense. Braun Breaker on SmackDown kicks ass. Carmella Hayes is already there, if we're being honest. I think what they're going to end up doing is they're going to probably fast track both Braun Breaker and Carmella Hayes to the main roster, even though they're still doing storylines in NXT. They're still going to fast track them to the main roster. It makes perfect sense. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And if you ask me, Braun Breaker and Carmella Hayes have been more than ready for a year, especially Braun Breaker. The guy's been ready to come up to the main roster. I want to say all the way back towards the end of 2022, he should have been called up then at that time. Because Braun Breaker's ready. He's ready, man. He's ready. For sure, he's ready. Moving on. Jackie Redmond had a backstage interview with Becky Lynch. She said, what's plan B? Becky says she's heard she let a lot of people down on Saturday, including herself. The only way I stay down is by giving up, and that's not true to her nature. Plan B is to train harder, think smarter, fight dirtier. And above all, she won't stop until she brings the title back to the main event that it deserves. So she's going to be in the chamber. So that makes perfect sense. That's really what she was alluding to. It makes sense because Becky Lynch should be in the chamber to win. She's still going to be able to face Rhea Ripley And I think she should defeat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 40. I think that would make perfect sense, if we're being honest. So, there's that. Moving on. So, Gunther. He has a good little promo. He says that Kofi, he wants to finally speak to him. Good on you for challenging me, because tonight, you're about to have the biggest fight of your career. Fighting for your name. You're fighting for your legacy. You're fighting for every single accomplishment you ever made. You will remember this for the rest of your life. But after tonight, I'll forget about you. So, here's my advice. Leave it all out there in the ring tonight, because when I'm done with you, nobody will be speaking about you anymore. And I will carry on being the longest reigning and greatest intercontinental heavyweight champion of all time. Good luck, Kofi. This leads us into Gunther versus Kofi for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was tremendous. Kofi Kingston had a great showing in this match. This match was fucking good. The crowd was into it too, big time. They were mega into it. And it gave the crowd a lot of hope spots, which is what I always love. So, in the end, Gunther wins via the clothesline into the powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3. And then post-match, Imperium, they beat down the New Day. So, they beat Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. They come in to beat down Kofi. Xavier Woods comes in to try to make the save, but he sure comes to the numbers, and that was that. So, that's pretty cool. Makes sense. I still think it's the plan to have Jey Uso defeat Gunther. It probably won't be at WrestleMania 40, because some people are saying, and reports are saying, that it's still going to be Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. But we all know that Brock doesn't give a fuck about mid-card titles. So there's that. So it would just make perfect sense for Jey Uso to defeat Gunther at the Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia. Moving on. So Jackie Redmond, she had a backstage interview with Sami Zayn. She asked how Sami Zayn is managing his emotions going into tonight's main event. He said it's very hard for him to sit on the sideline because of a man who always makes excuses for something. Drew McIntyre is targeting everybody. Drew McIntyre needs a reality check. He's the man to give it to. Next, I wanted to burn my television. The Kabuki Warriors versus Natalya and Tegan Nox. The Kabuki Warriors win. Who gives a shit? Like, can we please just get rid of Natalya and Tegan Nox, please? Like, for real. Ugh. Moving on. So, KC Square, they wanted to inform Jackie Redmond that they'll be getting their tag team title shot rematch next week. Who really cares? They're going to lose anyway. Like, they could have done that on Friday. It wouldn't have mattered. They're going to lose anyway. Moving on. So, Bayley, she comes out with the rest of Damage Control. She gets on the mic. And she says that Damage Control basically has all the gold except for the WWE Women's Championship. The Women's World Championship. She said, the answer is never, because it's never been done before. This right here is history, and it's thanks to all, it's all thanks to me. I've been telling you idiots for over a year and a half that Damage Control was going to take over. Nobody believed her. Everybody thought it was, that her idea was going to flop. Everybody saying, oh, Bayley isn't as good as she used to be since coming back from injury. Bayley's been losing all of her matches. But luckily, she didn't listen to your opinion, because she sees the bigger picture. I may have not been in the post of the Royal Rumble, but here I stand tall and proud as your 2024 Women's Royal Rumble winner. In a time where we have the most stacked and talented women's roster, I came out on top. I beat 29 other women on Saturday. Not only that, I'll beat Rhea Ripley's previous record. She said, as I was in the match for a total of Michael, listen, real close. 63 minutes and 3 seconds. Ding dong, hello. So at WrestleMania, then Rhea comes out. No, my bad. Yeah, Rhea Ripley, she comes out. She says, Bayley, you think you accomplished something? That's cute. You might have beaten my time in the Royal Rumble. That's probably because I wasn't in it. I see the rest of the Damage Control has gold. And if you decide to challenge me at WrestleMania, then it's going to stay that way. You know why? And then out of nowhere, Nia Jax beats the shit out of Rhea Ripley. She hits her leg drop 3 times. She gets on the mic and says, Bayley, you can pick Io. You can pick anybody else, but Rhea Ripley isn't making it to WrestleMania. And then Bayley responds by saying, yeah, you should let me finish. I was going to say, I'm going to make my announcement on Friday on SmackDown. So it makes sense. We all know that that's what they're going to do with Bayley. We're going to get Bayley versus Io for WrestleMania 40, which is fine. Main event, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre gets the win. He cut a promo before the match, but it really didn't really matter. Drew was basically putting down Sami Zayn. So Drew McIntyre wins via the Claymore. So this is great. I'm loving heel Drew McIntyre. He kicks major ass. So Monday Night Raw for the most part was okay. We're still progressing stories. So it makes perfect sense. We all know that Bayley and Cody Rhodes are going to be on SmackDown going forward anyway. Bayley's going to challenge Io Sky, and Cody Rhodes is going to challenge Roman Reigns. So SmackDown should be interesting for the most part. Raw was okay. It could have been better, but it was okay. The Judgment stuff is okay, but we're still moving slow on that. We don't need, all these boring matches. Like, what's the point of using Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler? They're not over. The crowd hates them. They're boring as shit. Same with Natalya and Tegan Nox. Gunther is on a tear right now, so he's doing tremendously good. I think what they need to do with him is have Xavier Woods, try to... I think they faced before, but they could do it again. So you could do Xavier Woods versus Gunther, and then Gunther wins. But Jey Uso is going to somehow have to, be involved at the Chamber to take out Gunther. And I think the Elimination Chamber will be a perfect time for Gunther to drop the IC title. Maybe Brock Lesnar gets involved at the Chamber and costs Gunther. That's how Jey Uso wins. And then you can go into WrestleMania 40 having Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. And then you can also have Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Because they're still going to do that, even though that's not been talked about for a while, for months. But they're still going to go that route for the story. But all in all, Monday Night Raw was okay. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.